If you have just watched the last 3 videos, you're probably thinking, when is Alison going to actually train me how to hit my goal? This is your first training video, so it's going to be a little bit longer, and we are going to talk through this this goal setting sheet. I have put it in Word because if you do a lot of online training, most of the documents are PDFs. I hate that because I know from my training experience that a lot of people, generally men, and that's a big generalization, prefer to do things electronically. So if you use OneNote, or if you just prefer typing things, then you can type straight into the Word document. If you're like me, you can print out this guide and you can actually write in it. I think there's something very good about actually handwriting into a document. There's actually studies that show that when you write something down, it's almost like your brain imagines you taking that action. So obviously when you're doing goal setting, it's really important that you kind of visualize all the actions that you're going to take. So I recommend, if possible, that you print this out and write into it. So if you've had a look at this guide, you're probably thinking, why am I not starting off straight away with all the actions that I could take to hit my goal? Why is Alison asking me to write down everything that's on my mind? For many of you, you write lists. I always have a to-do list. I have my hopes and dreams and goals and plans all written down because that's how my mind works. But what I've discovered when I do training is probably 10 to 15% of people have never actually written down their goals, have never actually written down everything that they have to do. And when you start to do that, you find out that you become so much more efficient. Often people are resistant to writing down what's on their mind because they feel when they see everything they have to do, then they're going to become completely overwhelmed. But actually it is the opposite effect. When you write things down, it allows your brain to just calm down. It's almost like once you've written down everything you need to do, your brain knows it's written down, it's stored somewhere, and it can forget about it. If you don't write down what you have to do, your brain keeps saying, don't forget this, don't forget that, and you have this constant sense of anxiety, whether you admit it or not, that you're going to forget something or you're going to, miss a meeting. And so you always feel slightly busy or overwhelmed. That sense of busyness is just lots of unorganized thoughts racing around in your head. So the idea of writing them all down first is just that you clear out your mind. Sometimes it's called a brain dump, a thought download. I call it a mind flush. And it's one of the most important things that I teach. And we'll keep coming back to this concept of a mind flush throughout my training. If I just got you writing down all the different things that you could do to hit your goal without doing the mind flush first, you'd be thinking, oh, I could do this and I could do this, but it would prompt you to think about another thought, and before you know it, you're off thinking about Christmas lists rather than focusing on whatever your goal is. Now, if your goal is getting your Christmas list done, then that's great. But what I find is unless you've cleared all your thoughts out first, you end up going off at a tangent. If you're someone who does a to-do list regularly, I want you to think of the mind flush as more expansive than a to-do list. Start off, yes, with what you need to do today, tomorrow, this week, next week, but then think bigger. What have you got to do next month? What would you like to do in 2021? It's so easy to get stuck in just the day-to-day things that you need to do. But if you're actually thinking just a little bit bigger, if you're thinking more expansively, then it gives you something to look forward to, but it also allows you to just focus on important things. You're not just being reactive to whatever is put in front of you. This is particularly true at work. Instead of just reacting to the next phone call or the next email, you can actually be focusing on some kind of strategy. If we were talking, on a personal level, if I was just focusing on planning for Christmas and not thinking bigger than my to-do list for Christmas, I would miss my husband's birthday, my dad's birthday, and my son's birthday, who all fall within Christmas, that Christmas time period. So really focus when you go and do your mind flush on everything that's on your mind, everything that's coming up, and clearing out your mind. So if you want to pause this video, you can, and then complete your mind flush. You may not have enough space here. You can write on the back. You can use an extra piece of paper. So go and do your mind flush. When you have done your mind flush, come back to the video and we will move on to the next one.